All right, morning guys. Before we get started here, if you would just, if you haven't already, do us a favor, hit subscribe. Also hit the bell icon if you want to be notified anytime we upload anything hunting related. Today, Scott and I are with a good friend of ours, Joe Paese, and he's a master bow tech. So he's going to be tuning up our bows, and we're going to bring you through that process. Going to ask Joe some questions, and we're going to put in the description Joe's information. If you want to send out your bow and have a good guy work on the bow and get you set up right, you'll be able to utilize Joe. Send him your equipment, and you can contact him, and he'll help you out. So Scotty's got, what kind of bow you got here?
Got Hoyt Nitram, 33-inch ATA on it.
Nitram Turbo.
Nitram Turbo, yeah, right. I got the fast bow. I'm just going to go through it, check everything out, make sure everything's timed good. Joe says he's going to strip it down and build it back, and it's going to be better than ever.
Yep.
All right. First, I'm just going to check the cam timing, make any adjustments we need on that. These Hoyts with these cams, I always found that with the top cam slightly adjusted ahead, meaning that the top cam draw stop will touch
Before.
maybe a credit card's width
Okay.
before the bottom cam. That's preliminary, and then
That's specs.
once we get into bare shaft tuning and everything, the arrow's going to tell me whether I need to advance one or the other,
Okay.
or how it likes it.
Very good.
So first, we're going to check and see what.
Make sure you got 'em on.
Yeah, let me make sure. See what he's doing here. Joe, I've only, last couple of years, there's a lot of discussion about bare shaft tuning and stuff.
Yep.
And for a long time, I've been doing like paper tuning, just with your fletchings and stuff. But what's the benefit if you can shoot a perfect bullet hole with fletchings through paper? What's the benefit to bare shaft?
Well, there's people that'll argue it one way or another. But if you're going to shoot fixed blade heads, in my opinion, there is no better tune than a bare shaft tune. Because what you're doing, when you could get a bare shaft, what we're going to do later on, you're going to see, after everything is set, I'm going to have Scott start shooting a bare shaft from 20 yards and a fletched arrow. And we're going to see, because the fletching is going to correct any of the issues as it comes out of the bow.
Right. That's why arrows are fletched, right?
Right. So, in essence, even if your bow isn't tuned right, if you're shooting a fletched arrow from 10 feet, those veins are already taken over.
Right.
As it comes out of the bow. So, they're pretty much
They're
straightening out. They're correcting anything.
Right.
A bare shaft is going to show you all sin.
Right.
So, when I get a bare shaft and a fletched arrow touching at 20 yards, or at least on the same plane, and you don't see no left, right, up, or downs,
Yeah.
you're taking all the variables away.
Right.
You're just having the veins there to go along for the ride at that point.
Right.
And the shaft is...
That's to help you find the arrow.
So we'll give it a check here. All right. You want to come over here with the camera, you'll be able to see.
Yeah.
Right now it's a little bit out of time. As you can see up here, that top draw stop
Yep.
is touching the cable. And we're probably
Oh, yeah.
quarter inch, 5/16 off on the bottom cam.
Let me just, I want to actually see that so I can, I'm kind of zooming in, but it's kind of hard to do that here. I just want to see it myself, so I know what you're talking about.
See, that's the top draw stop.
Yep.
See, that's touching that cable.
Yep.
See the red draw stop on the bottom. See
Yeah.
how far away it is from the bottom cable.
Yep.
So
So
what it means
that
is-
bow's out of time.
It's out of time. And what that will do, that'll give you a that'll be a tear. You'll be chasing your tail around. Guys will be moving their rests up and down. You're still not fixing the problem.
That's why you miss all them big bucks, Scott. The bow's out of time. You see, you got an excuse now.
Now I got an excuse.
Even on Sundays, he's going to do this to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty much relentless.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to throw the seat press.
On Sundays during Lent, no less.
I know. So in order to fix that, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put a twist. I'm gonna put one full twist in the control cable.
How long does it typically take you to tune a bow? Like, something like this, it's not too far out. I mean, start to finish. Talking hours? You talking an hour?
I've had bows that I wanted to rip my hair out, and I was there for hours till I got it exactly how I wanted. I've had bows that, like Anthony's bow. Yesterday, this expedition.
Yep.
Put new strings on it for him. 3 arrows. They were bare shafts and fletched with touching. 3 shots, pretty much. Done. So,
You know what you should
then
do?
that PSC behind you, raised bow, that I had to shim the cams on it. So then that takes a little longer.
I think what you should do when you give it back to him, tie a balloon on it.
I was thinking of something.
There you go. Yeah,
Pink balloons.
that's it. Yeah. Little Bambi on the balloon. There you go, Anthony. I think I put that in when I was scouting last week too, right? I found the spot and I said, oh my God, another balloon. There you go, Anthony. Must be a good spot.
Poor Anthony, he's not even here to...
He'll see the video. We'll send it to him.
He's pumped up. He's going to see his boy.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. Let me tell you something. There's nothing better than that. It's about as patriotic as it gets when you're...
Need a little more.
Now, so you put the twist in one of the cables?
In
or?
the control cable.
Okay.
I always try and put twists in. Sometimes it's a dance, put a twist in one, take one out of one.
Yep.
The way strings are made, I always try to put twists in instead of take twists out, because when the strings come from the manufacturer or whoever, they're twisted up to a certain spec.
Yep.
So
Does it weaken the string or something if it has no twists or?
it doesn't. If you
Well,
take
it's probably
twists out,
gonna
it's
make
going to
it
lengthen
longer.
it.
Yeah.
It's going to make it longer.
Yep. Yep.
See how much this moves. I might have to work on the yoke cable a little bit.
Now, let me ask you a question. When you're you're doing your bare shaft tuning and stuff, all that's going to be obviously with a field point.
Right.
When you go to like a fixed blade broadhead, is there any type of paper tuning that people actually do with a broadhead on as well? I mean,
No.
not going to change.
Actually, from what I've seen, there's not many fixed blade heads that I've seen that after you bare shift tune that you couldn't get to match with your field tips.
This is the reason why I've been shooting expandables, just because probably my bow wasn't really completely tuned right.
Well,
So-
that's the reason why A lot of guys go to expandables because that's the main reason. All right, see, I went about one twist too much. See, now the bottom's touching, so I'm gonna take one twist out. We should be good.
And the thing is too, like if you think about it, if your arrow is not hitting perfectly straight, you're going to lose a lot of energy. You
lose
see it
a ton of energy.
How many
a lot of
times
the
you
kinetic
see
energy is gone.
in hunting videos, you'll see somebody shoot, especially with an expandable, you'll see the arrow sticking out of the deer. They're hoping they got enough penetration, but you'll see it actually as it goes in, deflect left and right or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's all energy being lost
Right.
instead of being driven
everything's being
straight through the
lost.
shaft and right down through.
That's the difference between a pass-through and not.
Yep.
Exactly. When you lose all that energy, yeah, you know, it's if you think about the same thing, I guess, as a punch being thrown.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's
a
not,
glancing blow.
and that's why they say a professional fighter, because there's so much mechanics behind it that when they hit, all that force is there. So right, exactly. Now, if an arrow's not hitting a knock to tip perfectly on alignment, yeah, you're losing.
I'm not really much on like fighting analogies. I'm more of a lover than a fighter. You know what I mean? Actually, I'm not really good at either one.
Now
You know?
now we're ready to get started. Now
right.
you can see the
That's
difference.
perfect. Yeah, look at that, man. They're both touching equal.
All right, that makes you solid back wall.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
let me ask you. You said what cable did you adjust?
Because the bottom draw stop was so far out, I just twisted. This is a cam and a half system or a hybrid cam system, meaning is you have a yoke cable and then a control cable. The yoke cable takes care of draw length and draw weight. The control cable takes care of cam sync.
Okay.
But on these systems, like if I needed to advance the top cam, I would put a twist or two into the bus cable, meaning the Y cable.
Okay.
All right. Bottom cam, I just mess with the control cables, and then we'll start dancing around once we start tuning. So that gets that started.
Probably
Now,
how many guys are chasing their tail because it's just.
Son,
Sure.
well, this is, I don't, no way do I want to badmouth any pro shops or anything, but, you know, they only have so much time to work on each individual bow. They can't go through, like I said, I spent 2 hours on bows.
Yep.
You know, shimming. I shift the shims around on it, go outside, shoot. You know, a lot of guys would just move their rest so far out that the arrow's sticking like that just to get a shoot straight. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
They just can't spend the time. So it's easier for them to either give a guy a smaller kind of contact broadhead, or field tips are hitting where you want. Screw a mechanical head on, and
you're good.
You're ready to go.
Yep.
And I'll tell you a perfect story. As far as like you say, cam sync being out. I lost a draw stop on my bow. Joe and I were hunting together on a farm years ago, and I patterned this buck all summer long, and I got him coming through like clockwork. You could set your watch to it. Here it is, opening day. I'm in the stand 2 hours before. He's always coming through around 5:30. Him and two other bucks. 5:38, I got him at 15 yards broadside. Draw back, I put it on him, I take my time, I squeeze my trigger off, I hit, and the deer just flinched. And I'm like thinking like, did I go through him? And I watched him, and he just walked off. I thought I went through him. I was like, there's no way, I missed.
Right.
You know? I missed. I couldn't believe it. I watched him walk right into the field. I was like, oh my God, what the hell happened? So I went home and I shot, and I couldn't hit nothing. And I couldn't figure it out. What the hell went wrong? So when I did bring it to, I think it was CJ at the time, he looked at it and he goes, oh, here's your problem. He goes, you lost your draw stop. He says, so that cam's turning way past.
Every time you shoot, it's different.
That cam is kept when one cam stopped. So the cam that had the draw stop stopped.
Right.
That took off.
Yep.
When that cam rotated all the way, the other one's still rotating, so that automatically made the arrow tail go up, down, whichever one it was that you lost.
Yep. And yeah, that explained it all. Because I was like, there's no way. I mean, I'm not the greatest shot in the world, but come on, you know. I mean, I've missed sucker shots too, but I was just like, there's no way, man. How did I miss that?
Let me tell you something. I've had pretty, you know, my bow's tuned right, and I've missed some chip shots. I'm like, what the hell? Let me tell you something. When I was a kid,
I just kept, you know, I was searching for an
choke
explanation
factor.
on why I missed like that, and I couldn't, you know.
I always
Until
say,
he brought it to my attention, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's why.
yeah.
You wouldn't even look for that while you were in the thing.
No,
What do you mean it came off?
Yeah.
I always say if I had every deer I should have, I'd be famous.
Oh, forget it. Forget it. Not a big thing these days that I'm saying, which I'm happy about because I've always been a heavy arrow guy personally. Is, you know, guys are looking like I'm getting a lot of people calling me, you know, I want to try, you know, I want to shoot a higher FOC arrow, and I think it's great. If you think back to like when we started hunting with aluminums and
Yeah.
what have you, every one of us was shooting over 500 grain
Oh yeah,
arrows
sure we were. Yeah.
without even knowing
Right.
it.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Over the years, I got caught up with this whole speed thing. You know?
Yeah,
So lighter arrow, you know, I want to shoot, you know, 320 feet per second, and you know, it's just, yeah, and it's costing.
Remember the overdraws?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
shoot an arrow and it was like a little bolt.
Yeah.
What are you doing there, Joe? Taking his
I'm
peep
just taking
out?
the serving go off. No, I'll leave the peep in unless he wants to put a bigger peep in. I have bigger peeps if you want something a little larger.
Nah, I think I'll leave it. You know what it is? I just like that aperture because the way you know, it centers.
That's what
nice.
that's a 3/16. That's the same
Yeah.
size I shoot. He's got too many colors on it.
Yeah, I
I
know,
got
he's-
flow orange to match.
Yeah.
We got to make
Yeah.
it look good.
Right.
Make it.
Make it look pretty.
But what we are going to do is one thing
like
I
his
always
coffee
do
cup was, you know.
on these QAD.
Hey, don't rip on my coffee.
On these QAD rests, you see how the felt always peels off and
Always
everything?
does, yep.
I'll show you one thing I've been doing for years. I get
Oh, what did
The
that
heat shrink?
3/16 heat shrink goes on the arms. And then 1/4 inch goes on the top containment holder.
Yeah, that'll really hold up.
Yeah. Just doesn't make it peel away. Makes it look a little better. Take this off. I'm going to change your pull cord also for you. Take that off. Condition your string a little bit also.
What type of wax is that?
This is a Bow Pro All-in-One. It's probably the best
Oh, yeah.
wax
Bow
I've
wax?
used.
Nice.
It's made by a company, Seal One. Another good one is a Scorpion Venom.
Yeah.
This one smells like an old folks home.
Oh yeah.
Like Ben Gay.
I guess. Yeah.
That's great. That's where I really want my bow to smell like.
There's seal one.
I've been looking all over for that. How can I get my bow to smell like an old folks home?
That's it. Melted that in there good, huh?
Yeah, just.
So Hoyt's new 2020 line that's out this year. Not a big fan of it, huh?
I like them.
Yeah.
They are nice. They're short, unless you go with like the Ultra or some. I'm not a fan of the short ATA bows.
Yeah, this is the shortest bow I've ever pulled, 33 inch. I still have.
I was never a Matthews guy, but the past 2 years I've been shooting this Traverse, and it's
And that's why I never went to Matthews either. It always
Yeah.
seemed like their bows were too short for me.
this 33 axle to axle, almost 7-inch brace height. It just
Yeah,
shoots.
that's forgiving, 7-inch.
Yeah.
Very forgiving. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, because my other bows, the Max is 35.
That was a great bow. I
I
had that bow.
love shooting that bow.
After the Alpha Max and the Maxus, I shied away from them a little bit.
Checking for a center shot.
No, I'm just checking your second axis, make sure it's good. Check this for you too before I start doing anything. That straighten out. I'm just squaring up your side housing.
Yeah.
See how it is?
Yep.
All right. Now with these Hoyts, I set this. I try and be, if you could see, because you can't see the burger hole. I always try and go through, through the center of the burger hole. But if you split this on their rubber pad that they put on it, the second line, that's pretty much a good starting point, I would say. I'll just check the level there. I always try to start at 90 degrees. Lift this up a little bit.
You started out at level.
Level, 90 degrees, yeah. Just with the Hoyts, I find that they hold better a little higher up on this shelf. See what I mean? See these lines?
Yep.
If you stuck a pin through the burger hole,
Yep.
it would come out pretty much right there. So
Right.
these bows seem to hold a little better the higher you could be up on there.
Okay.
It's just one of the things.
So you just cheat to this far side where the bubble's just touching the line, more or less.
Just a little less. Just try and get it centered. Then I tie in soft nocks, top and bottom.
But you don't use the crimp-on ones?
No, I tie in nocks because I use soft nocks because if say something you fray your D-loop or whatever, the nocks are there. Just cut your D-loop off, put another D-loop on.
Yep.
You're just right back in the game.
told you he doesn't tie an alpine butterfly.
Paid attention in Boy Scouts.
I do 3 on top. You're gonna have 3 wraps on top, and I do 4 on the bottom. And I start the bottom set. Any bow 32 and a half and up, I keep it about, I don't know, I guess 1 mil, but I pretty much just look at the wraps of serving. 1 wrap of serving is pretty much what it is. I'll keep that space below the knock, because when you draw back the angle,
A little bit,
it's going to
yeah.
squeeze it together. So
Yep.
I keep that space so it ain't really jamming on the knock.
You'd almost think maybe, even if they were tight, when you draw it back, it'll probably spread it to where it wants to be, and then probably maybe stay there the rest of the time. And that's it. They're just simple overhand knots you were pulling.
Pretty much. Yeah, you can see the spacing underneath. See, it's like 1 wrap worth.
Yeah.
Some guys like, they'll use the D-loop knots, you know, instead of putting a soft knock. I always like the soft knock. Some guys just put a soft knock on the bottom. Yeah, everybody does it a little different. It all works. Just kind of what you like. I like it this way, so you could always just change the D-loop. You don't have to worry about much. They're full. It's just the cold. Now we're going to put the D-loop on. I already cut one for you, and some guys use a big piece and then start measuring it. From what I found, this is about the length I found to be best, maybe 3/4 of an inch. If you start with a piece, melt one end, measure it 4.5 inches, cut it and melt that end,
Yeah.
it'll give you, once it's cinched down, it'll give you that. And as everybody knows, you gotta have them opposing. For right-handed shooters, this is the like the layout it should be.
Uh-huh.
You know, closed on the bottom, facing you, open on top, facing you.
And that's for right hand?
Right,
What-
left
hand.
hand, lay your left hand, that's right. There's always gotta be one in the group that shoots backwards.
Good thing you brought that up.
Yeah. That's like,
tell you,
why is he
it's
tying a
been-
right hand D loop on a left hand?
It's been a long time since I had a,
Yeah, I know,
lefty.
we're special. We're special, but we're gifted. In what I don't know, but that's what my wife keeps telling me. Anyway. I'm not going to argue with her.
your wife's left-handed also?
Nah.
Oh,
She's just lucky enough to marry a left-handed guy.
She's always been fond of working with special ed cases.
She says I'm the most improved. Say that lefty messed you up. didn't
yeah,
it?
screwed
See
me
that?
all up.
That's right. I messed Joe up too when I was teaching him how to do DRT. Kept trying to teach him how to tie a knot lefty.
Yeah.
He was all screwed up.
Believe it or not, the guys at work make fun of me when we're making knots because I tie all my knots left-handed too. I don't know why, it's just
Yeah.
the way I found it easier. That's that. Now we're gonna change the D-loop material.
Yeah, I always wondered if you had that you had that adjusted too many times, that material would get too small and it was no good.
Yeah, I just change it with regular D-loop material.
Yeah.
I'm fond of the BCY number 24
Mhm.
on it.
It's for a D loop. It's pretty tough then.
Yeah.
Now I've seen some material that was tied. I don't know if it was on a ham ski rest or something. It seemed like for the rest. Where the heck was it going off of? It was like way down in here somewhere, tied in for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't-
like
Okay.
yeah, it's for a limb-driven rest. That's
all
a ham
right.
ski on
Okay. Yep.
that. Yeah, you tie it to the one. Like on every bow is different. They all have a sweet spot. Like on primes, their
Yeah.
axle, the end of their axle is a perfect spot for it. It gets the most
okay.
movement.
Yeah.
You know, just
What's your preference?
I'm partial to limb-driven. Just my thing.
And you're not worried about like when you're walking in, this getting hooked, hit or anything.
No. Your arrows pretty much cover it.
That's true, right?
Yeah, with your quiver there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never had a problem. I've been using those for, I want to say 4 or 5 years, ham skis.
Uh-huh.
Use it. That's the same material.
Same as the loop. Same exact material.
See, I chose that color, so the DEC comes in.
You got your
I
hunter
got
orange.
Hunter orange on.
Orange on.
you know.
Fall out, you gotta look cool while you're out there doing it.
Yeah, to some point. I never thought I'd be.
Well, he hangs out with me a lot, so
yeah.
I
Well,
take that.
if
I
I got-
cover that.
Then why don't I have pink on there? Then?
I can make it happen. After I saw that coffee lid this morning.
That's it. Joe wants it to be pink. I gotta get my buddy Tim over here to see you. He goes out west every year, man. He's a 60, 70-yard shooter at those muleys. He loves it, man. He was asking me right before he was leaving, too. He's like, man, I really want somebody to go with my bow. He goes,
Send him over.
I'm not going to say who he said, he didn't trust anymore, but I told him, I said, yeah, come see my buddy Joe, man.
All right.
Can tell everybody on the video in case they hear all this sniffling going on. It's like 20 degrees in
Yeah.
this garage.
Yep.
But that's Stone Cold Joe over here, man.
Listen,
he's
I've been,
hardcore.
I've been
man.
working on bows all weekend, and I looked in the back corner. I'm like, "You're such an idiot." I could have had this going all weekend.
Joe's hardcore. Working in a heated shop is for all the wimps,
Anybody could work in a heated shop. Come on.
It's like working in a refrigerator.
Yeah.
So you have some meat hanging in the background,
There's plenty of meat.
It'd be like
hanging out.
it'd be like a Rocky movie, Uh-oh.
Razorbacks.
Yep. These are oldies but goodies.
Yeah, that's a collector's item right there.
Oh, yeah.
I was driving by a yard sale, and I said, I know what those boxes are. As I was driving by, I pulled over. I was like, how much you want for those? And the lady was like, give me $1 a box. Okay.
Things are legend.
They still make them?
No, they haven't been made since the 80s.
Tell you what, there's a lot of deer killed with those
Ooh.
broadheads.
I killed quite a few.
A lot of blood trails in the woods.
And one of the most famous heads made back in the day, and they were 142 grains. Did you guys get all the stuff done for the rope company?
Yep.
Yeah, we think so. We actually shot a ton of material, so we figured when it comes to editing, we got more than enough. Give our guy plenty of material to work with. So that should go out this week.
You do all your own editing?
Well, Joe's got a friend of his who's been doing, you should do it for, what, a TV show or something like that?
Yeah, he used to do it professionally,
So this guy's a whiz at it. Because we're two idiots when it comes to that.
yeah,
so.
we're not really technology guys. I can fix your boiler, your air conditioning, and your railroad signal system. But,
Editing, we leave to the professionals.
yep. I can climb up and down trees okay. And I'm really good at finding my arrows after I miss a deer. You know,
That's an art.
got a lot of experience. But I'm not going to miss any more once Joe sets me up.
That's it.
Listen, I don't guarantee any of that.
That's it. You fish. Listen, it won't be the bow era. So
Yeah.
you can't say that anymore.
I know. I've been using that for a long
I
time.
think this bow isn't shooting right.
You ever see that video? Somebody posted it. It's like a haunting video. Some dude, a not really nice buck comes in. It's like probably less than 10 yards, and the guy shoots, and there's this one branch in the way, and you just see the
Hits it
arrow.
square.
It just
I
hits
saw
it
that one.
perfect,
Oh,
and
man, yeah.
it would have just smoked him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just. I
Actually,
don't.
when he shoots, it looks like the lighted knock is
Yes.
in the deer, but
Yeah.
it's right. He forgot all about it, and he shot the hell out of that grunt call.
I shot at a deer one time. My grunt call got. The deer was literally like almost under me, and the grunt call was around my neck, and it got wrapped up in my string. When I shot, the arrow didn't hit the deer, but my grunt call did. It actually tore the grunt call and slapped the deer right in the side.
Yep.
That was the penetration, any good?
Yeah, I'm using different grunt calls now. Something with better penetration.
Switch to a sharper rifle.
It's like anything that can go wrong will go wrong when you're hunting
Every
something.
time.
Right. That's it.
That's the thing though, man. You get like, you think about it, the four of us, or I'm not real good at math, the three of us,
We'll go with 3 this time.
the three of us, I mean, we have, probably 40 years each hunting, right? It's just all the lessons you've learned. If you could go back, I mean, if you could just go back in time. I mean, back in the 80s too, when we were hunting, Westchester stuff, the deer that were running around, and just the stupid mistakes I
The
made.
mistakes I made.
If I knew then what I know now,
Yeah.
Well, you saw the picture I put up on Strog Island yesterday of me and Willie.
Yeah, yep.
A picture from this season and a picture from, I don't know, we were 13 years old, over 30 years
Yeah.
Tim and I have been together hunting.
That's cool.
And it's, back then, if a one-horn spike came by,
Yeah,
it was in trouble. Not that it was in trouble. It was definitely getting some
Getting shot at.
aluminum shot at it.
Yeah, we just progressed. Started with just shooting a deer, and then if you killed bucks, if you're killing bucks with a bow, it was good, and then just kind of work your way up the chain.
That's it. We had Joe.
It was more fun then too.
It was.
A lot more fun.
Joey's nickname was, everybody calls him Joey D.
Uh-huh.
When the hunting time, it was always Doey D.
It's true, man. I killed a lot of does.
I actually have a
It's
cousin
like shooting
Joseph.
deer, man.
It's all practice.
It's all
I
I
actually
like
have a
shooting deer.
cousin Joseph. We call him, instead of the buck master, he's the doe master. Did you see the ears on that doe?
The spread.
Yeah, some tuning Crockett ears if I ever seen them.
Willie was the fawn master when we were the smallest deer that lived on the property. Willie was taking it out.
Yeah.
I got a funny story. We were, 17, 18 years old. And Willie had a little Nissan. It was late season. He's like, come on, let's go. And he had one of those crazy spoilers on the back.
Yeah.
We each shot a doe. We had them both on the back, and you couldn't see neither one of them on either side of the car.
That's good. Oh, shit. By the time we were upstate, I think it was like the last day. And, we were up there with the rifles. I come walking in, and Joe heard the shot. I come walking back, and it's dark, and him and his old man are standing on the porch of the A-frame, and he's like, "Did you get him?" And I'm like, "Yeah." You know, I'm like this. I got him back here in the dragon. And they're like, "Where is he?" And I went, I just threw all 60 pounds of him right up onto the porch. It's like, "How the hell did you shoot a dog?" So yeah, it's gonna taste real good too.
The good thing about hunting with Scott,
Probably like you guys, I came from a meat hunter's family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my father didn't want to hear.
Yeah.
Can't eat the horns,
Yeah,
man.
that was his famous saying. No matter how long I boil them, they're not getting any softer.
We'd shoot deer, you know, and you shoot a deer and drag it out with Scott. Scott drags you and the deer out.
Just think if this was tuned a week ago, I would have hit that dollar every time.
Yeah, that's right.
You guys would have been in trouble.
You see that comment? I said that dollar looked like who's on that dollar? Custer?
Yeah.
I just want you to draw it back with your release on, just to verify the peeps in a good spot. Tie it in for you.
It's got to come down some.
So, alright. How much we talking?
Try a quarter.
Quarter inch?
It's all quiet in here. If I drew that bow back, you would have heard a lot of snapping and crackling, popping. Sometimes I get I'll get out of bed, or if I'm just sitting there for a while and I get up, the noises my body makes, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, man, it's welcome to the 50s.
Getting old isn't for sissies.
Listen, I got cracks and everything else, and I still got a couple more years before the 50s.
Yeah. Yeah, well, mine started back in the 40s too. I was climbing and, going out on limbs, and it's like, man, was that my knee or was that the limb that's... Hey, hope I wasn't my knee.
You don't know which one to be worried about.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is as we started posting the videos with DRT climbing and stuff, we see a lot of guys they'll see it, and it seems like young guys, the young guys look at it and they're like, it looks too hard, But you'll see, there's a lot of older guys that see it like, oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And we got a guy who just posted, I think he's in his 60s.
No, just the one I answered this morning.
Yeah,
This guy's from BC, right? And he says, man, I really love this stuff and everything. And he asked us specifically, he says, when's the video for, DRT and SRT coming out? And Joe said, well, we're working on it. It'll be about 4 days. And he's like, oh, good. He goes, because my climbing buddy's 80 years old.
Wow.
And he wants to try this. I was like, that's amazing, man.
I just want to be able to walk when I'm 80.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to do it. Jesus. I hope I can still do this when I'm friggin' 80. Yeah, that's perfect.
All right.
Right there. It centers the whole housing.
Right.
Now, Joe, what do you do when somebody ships you a bow, and you know, I mean, I guess you got to just measure up where their peep is.
I
and
just
kinda keep
go
it the
by
same, right?
what they've sent.
Yeah.
You know,
Keep
I
it
have
in
a
the same
lot
spot.
of repeat customers. So as you can see on the table,
Yep.
I have everybody's.
Write everything down.
Everything's written down.
That's it.
See, here's your first one.
There you go.
You're immortalized on the table. Yeah, I'm looking forward to going to those. I want to. Now, what is that head that you're? that you're
Magnus Black Hornet.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a great head.
I'm looking.
Great company.
Yeah. It's a nasty looking head, man. It just. It's mainly a 2-blade, right? But does it have?
It has bleeders
Yeah.
to make it a 4-blade. Yeah.
Yeah, this year we're gonna smoke some deer this year. This past season, I kind of like. You know, it's funny. Scott's always been more the trophy hunter. He'd get mad at me a little bit sometimes, like, oh man, you should let that one walk, you know. And he's always holding out for the big deer.
Yeah.
And I'd kind of settle for smaller deer, just having a little bit more fun, like, you know, just shooting deer. But this year I was like, all right, you know, I'm waiting for a 4+ year old deer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we really didn't have a whole lot of opportunities this year. It wasn't that good a season for us.
No. Going into it, we thought so.
Yeah, we sure did.
We had a lot of good prospects, but you know.
But you know what? Like I was saying before, we used to have so much fun just going out and just shooting deer. You know,
Yeah.
just, you know. So and he had this year he shot a buck that probably you typically wouldn't shoot.
No, I wouldn't.
But it was like a really good time. You know what I mean?
It was a great day. I got in the woods a little bit after noon, and I actually ran into a guy in the parking lot. He was getting dressed, getting ready to go in, and as I'm walking past him, you know, I went over to kind of introduce myself, and he took a look at me from like 10 feet away, and he goes, "I know you," and I'm just thinking, you know, all right, high school buddy or something like that, and so I'm kind of going back in my mind, and it just isn't registering, man. And then he goes, "You're the reason why I started climbing DRT," and I was like, holy crap, you know. I was like, wow. I was like, that's cool, man.
I was,
You know?
influencers. I listen to all these crazy podcasts sitting on the train every day for work, and
Yeah.
that was one podcast I listened to from Jocko Willink.
Yeah.
And that's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Especially with the social media these days.
yeah. So yeah, that was pretty cool, you know, and so we kind of like, you know, we BS'd a little bit there, and then, you know, he said he knew of a good buck in there, and he was heading his way, I was heading my way, and all right, man, so well, you know, hope to see you again, and and here it is, the last day of...
It was before the gun, right?
Right before the gun. And, you know, spot that I've been hunting for years, I've killed a couple nice bucks out of it, and then, yeah, and this buck, I mean, textbook, man. It's funny, too, because even before I climbed up, you know, I kind of like kicked a little dirt out by this dead stump.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm pissed in it, and sure enough, man.
And that's one of the spots we hung a vine too.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was coming down through, and I just drew back and I put it right on that spot. I said, he's going to stop right there. You know, and we put it on him, let it rip. And you know, and I even, when I got over to him too, and I was just like, yeah, you know what? I had fun today, man.
Yeah.
I said, this was like, it took me back to, you know,
And what I
the
say to
reasons why I
everybody,
like the friggin' hunt, man.
didn't taste any different
Yeah.
than any of the other ones.
You know, because I can get very hard on myself, man. I mean, I've passed up bucks where I kicked myself in the ass, like, man, that was a nice deer. I should have killed that deer.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about what you're looking for. You know, I mean,
Right.
if you kind of set that that standard, and that's the game you're playing.
Yep.
Good. You know, if you just want to go out and shoot whatever, just
That's
for
it.
meat, that's good.
You know?
too.
I try and shoot the biggest deer on the property that I'm hunting.
Yep.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not in Iowa
Right.
or
Right.
anywhere else.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, and I've heard other people say it too, that you know, I'd go after a particular deer, and it was that deer or it was no deer, and you know, and they've, and I've heard it from other people too, and they said, you know, I've done that for years, and I'm always let down. I'm always disappointed.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to just put your sights on one
You know what
particular
happens
deer.
too, I think with us, it's harder because, you know, here in New York, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's not Iowa.
No,
and
it's not.
We, you know, we sit there and we watch all these videos
It's
of
not.
guys in these great places that hunt.
Right.
And we don't have those kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, we don't have the opportunities. We don't have the numbers. We don't have the numbers of quality deer either.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, sitting in Ohio, I mean, you know, in 1.5 a day sit, I had, you know, 5 different bucks come in, and back here, I'd have shot every one of them, man.
Yeah.
I'm talking, you know, I'm letting bucks walk in the mid-30s
Yeah.
because, you know, what's out there is you got a good chance of shooting a 150, 60 or bigger, you know. But I'm just like, oh my God! It's like, I mean, every 5 minutes, another friggin' buck's coming through that back home. I'd have shot that.
Right. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday too, Joe. It's like you know, we're not really necessarily hunting where we want. We're hunting where we can.
Right.
You know, you get permission from somebody. Sometimes you get a good spot, you know, and it's great. But then sometimes it's like, you know, you just got to go with where you can go, and you do the best you can with what you got.
Is that still running?
Yeah.
You're on him?
Yeah.
Oh, good. It looks like you're like
Yeah, I'm on.
here.
I'm on both of you.
Ah.
I'm not zoomed in on him, but because you were talking, so I was trying to catch you. Let's see. I'm tying this stuff up here.
Public land craze has picked up the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing about it too is
Which is good, you know.
Right,
Getting
with all
more
this-
guys out there.
Yeah, with all this public land and a lot of these shows now, and a lot of the, you know, the stuff on YouTube. I think that's the mindset now too. A lot of guys are saying, you know what, I'm gonna let that walk this year.
That's good.
You know, and it
That's
is. You know?
Makes it better for everybody.
Right, exactly.
You know, you get some of these guys on some of these pages. We haven't, fortunately, we haven't experienced it much on ours, but I see some guys getting pretty nasty with each other.
Absolutely.
Over that, debating that.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, to me, it's a subjective thing. If you're, you know, you want to shoot and wait for the biggest deer, great. You know, if you want to shoot whatever comes along, that's great
That's
too.
it. Hey, listen,
Absolutely.
trophies in the eye of the beholder.
Absolutely.
You know, it's one
The
thing
others-
if you have the laws in place.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's, you know, you're not allowed to shoot this or that. You know, that's
That's
one
different.
thing. That's something you got to deal with though.
But you know,
Yeah.
my feeling on it is the one side of it that, you know, some of these guys get a little bit, I don't know, they
Yeah.
argue with. I like the idea of like either age or some type of restrictions, because I feel like it just makes it better for everybody. But it would be better if people just chose it on their own,
Yes.
not have the government actually give you the regulation.
Right.
But like what we're doing is, you know, you see a younger buck, a spike, a 4-pointer. I'm like, let's let them get, you know, a little bit better potential.
Let's
It's a little
some
bit.
age on 'em, right.
It's always nicer, given the opportunity. If you know, there's 2 bucks standing there. One's an older buck, one's a younger buck. You know, people typically going to shoot the bigger buck, right? So if that's kind of what we're, you know, we'd all prefer. It's nice when everybody holds off. It makes it better for everybody. But you shouldn't shame anybody for
No,
shooting whatever
not
they
at all.
want.
Absolutely
you know?
not. Absolutely not.
And like Joe said too, it's been, you know, our followers have been. I mean, I would say there's some of the most respectful guys out there, man. I have, you know, they're really. Everybody helps each other. Everybody has a lot of good ideas and stuff. We encourage that, you know, because
Yeah.
by no means would I ever say that, you know, I know better than you or this or that or anything, you know.
Well, it
Listen,
has to, because our you know, our heritage, I guess you want to say, bow hunters, we're dropping off
Yeah.
considerably.
Exactly. Yeah.
We should be helping, not arguing. You know,
Exactly.
oh, you shot a 4-pointer.
That's what I
Why,
like.
you know.
Yeah. Right.
That's why, like, you know, on our page here, you know, we put the thing with, like, you know, not to discuss politics or anything like that. 'cause
Exactly,
It's like
right.
there's plenty of places for that.
There is. Yeah. It's not what this platform's about.
Just want to have fun, man. You know, this stuff is an escape from all that crap.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If I want to go and
Right. Get political. There's a
then
place and a time for it.
I'll do that. You know,
All right, draw her back one more time. start tuning.
Probably broadhead on them. Just or spin one up.
Tell you what, Joe, these heaters are working overtime and they're not doing anything. I'm thinking about, you know, thinking about starting a campfire in here.
Burn up some stuff. The mine will
Yesterday,
mine.
man, we were hanging those heads on that barn, and it was getting colder by the minute.
It was getting windier too.
The wind started picking up, man, and I'm like, oh my god, man.
I remember one time we went hunting upstate and we camped out in a tent overnight. It wasn't real cold, but it was you know, there was a frost in the morning and stuff. Man, that was a cold night.
That was the toughest thing. Is like you're saying, like, man, I gotta get out of this sleeping bag.
If you moved a little bit in your sleeping bag, like ice cold air would get in and just cut you, you know?
Yeah. It's like, whose fucking idea was this?
Oh, I remember as a kid, bow hunting late season with big giant Sorel boots on that didn't keep you warm at all.
Yeah.
You
Tree bark
you left them on and you put them in the sleeping bag. Right? Oh man!
I remember one Christmas, me and Willie got brand new tree bark coveralls.
Yeah.
We
I had
thought,
those.
That's it. We're gonna be invisible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Ref-
yeah.
They were like
That stuff didn't
refrigerate.
look like any tree
Yep.
in the woods.
But that was like state of the art camo at the time, you know?
It was. Get it close through paper in here, and then we're gonna go outside.
So I'm gonna back up. This good?
Yeah.
Try not to put a hole in his house.
Yeah, where we've been through
It
that
looks
already.
like a
The center of that paper
There's a
is
6-pointer outside that window.
Alright, so
Scott, move to your right. I just want to get a shot of your hole there.
see, so that's showing arrow entered here,
Tail.
and tail left.
Yeah.
Alright, so we fix one issue at a time. So I'll work on the tail left. And because it's low. Alright, so what we're going to do is Hoyt's usually like about a 3/4 center shot. That's where I set that to. So now I'm just going to work on the yokes. So since we got a left tear, I'm going to put a twist in the left yoke. Take one out of the right.
So now, when you're trying to get that perfect tuning, you adjusted for center shot, which your rest, and then you're because I never realized that. I would have thought you would have adjusted the rest for this to get
No, I set them at you know, every manufacturer has like a suggested range of the center shot. Hoyt's were always like 3/4, and that's the beauty of having a bow with yokes.
Right.
So I just set the rest at 3/4 center shot.
Yeah.
And now I manipulate the yokes to, it's going to pull down on, put cam lean into this
Yeah.
to correct the arrow.
Okay.
Alright, so let's gonna try it again. Same thing, back up. And now spine of the arrow could affect it if you're under spined or whatever.
Yep. Ooh, that one got worse.
I didn't fix the low still. Now it's right, so I put a full twist in the left and actually overcorrected it. So now I got to take a half a twist out of the left now and put one more. And put one more twist, a half a twist back in the right.
I think it's getting colder in here, Joe.
Should have had your sick
I know. I need my Sitka
get-ups
gear.
on.
Yep.
Exactly. I got mine out in the truck, Joe, if you want them.
You know, your clothing's a little tight on my arms.
Straighten that out a little bit. Now we got to work on the low tear. So now I mess with the control.
I was playing around in my garage trying to paper tune my bow, and I just got frustrated. You know.
You can only do so much with the rest, and then you got to start, manipulating cams.
Yeah, that's way above my pay grade.
Like your bow, because you have a prime, there's no yokes.
Yep.
They have they have that double cam.
Right.
So
And that's
with that donut in there, that takes the cam lean out of
Out
it.
of the equation,
So
yeah.
now you have to shim the cams left and right, which prime doesn't give you a lot of room, or you just got to start. I found with primes, usually set them out about 7/8 to the center shot, and then you can manipulate that flexus, the flex guard,
Yeah.
and you put a little more tension on the cables or take some off, it'll straighten you out.
Interesting.
too close.
Yeah, I'm shouting between both of them.
Yeah.
It actually shortened up.
Yeah, it looks a little tighter.
Yeah.
Should actually go a little higher.
Okay. Yeah. So long.
again.
Just want to get close, then we'll go outside.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Yeah.
Alright, now we go outside. Stop bear shack.
Sorry, to the left, huh? Or the right?
The right. Close enough for us to start. Alright, we'll go pull those. You're close enough. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not concerned with if you're hitting the dot.
Right.
I just want to make sure you're on the target so when we start shooting. I start hearing the turkeys gobbling across the street this weekend. This coming week with the warm weather. Alright, I want you to shoot that one first. Aim at the same spot you were aiming with that arrow. Alright, let's go see what it's doing. See, you got a tail right. Look to the side, that's pretty straight. So it's just a tail right. It's slight. Well, I'm going to take this. Rest. A touch. Let's see if that cleans it up.
Okay. So that was, just so you understand what he was looking at, that arrow was straight in,
Yeah.
okay? And this arrow was, like, the bear shaft was a little off. You know, they were both straight up and down,
Yep.
but the bear shaft was a little off.
It was a little tail right.
You know.
I mean, it was slight, so I adjusted the rest now to see if it's so slight, because when you're doing this, it's like micro
So
adjusting.
is it the
what we
goal to get both your bear
Even.
shaft and both sticking
Even.
out the same?
do. Not every time we get them, like I have them that they're touching.
Yeah.
You know, they're right on top of each other.
Yeah.
That's perfect. But as long as I have them, they're in the same plane,
Yeah.
and they're both dead straight in.
Yeah.
And when you do this, you have to shoot into this type of target, because bag target, if you shoot into a bag
It's gonna
target,
move
it'll
anyway,
move it.
yeah.
You'll never get a true reading.
Right. Just do me a favor, don't pull them yet. I just want to.
Now you see, now we're getting a tail left. It corrected it a little too much, so I got to move it. I moved it not even one line on the scale. I got to move it half.
Yeah.
So what?
You can
Explain.
see you have a tail left.
Yeah.
See the arrow, tail. This is arrow straight in.
Yeah.
Just the veins corrected that.
Yeah.
Now this arrow is showing tail left. The end of this arrow is pointing to the left side.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna I only moved it one line because we had it the opposite way earlier. It was
Yep.
tail right. So
You're
I
gonna
only
split
moved
the
it
difference?
One line. I gotta split the difference.
Gotcha.
now. And as far as straight in the target, you see they're almost on the same elevation. So that's saying that the height and my cams, the sync is perfect
Right.
where I want it. Now it's just messing with it. When it's
Right.
this small, I just use the rest. But I mean, if it was, I've had them where
So but basically, what you're doing is you're making adjustments on with your strings and your cams for coarse adjustment, and you're using the rest for fine.
fine adjustments. I mean, if we came out here and he shot and he had a tear, which I've seen that looked something like that, then I would manipulate with the yokes because there's too much I have to make up.
Yep.
But I mean, this was so minute, so I just used the rest.
Somewhere in here.
We're actually a little farther back. I don't know if he's
Yeah.
got a spot mark. I feel like we were further back.
Yeah, 20 yards is where I usually do. 20 yards is like the,
It's about that stuff.
yeah.
It is a little windy today too, though. It's probably.
Try and point on these arrows. See that spine?
Yep.
That's the stiff spine or shaft. Always
Right.
have that pointing up. I don't know why when they fletch these arrows, they didn't fletch them that
Do them all
way.
the same,
They
right?
never split it.
They like you should have the cock vein should be on the stiff spine.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that's what they say, spinal
Right.
line, right?
Yeah.
So they're all-
They fletch them that the weak spine is pointing up instead of the stiff. The stiff spine would be when they roll these,
Yeah.
where they overlap, that makes a stiff spine on the arrow.
When we do mine, I'm going to come back on a warmer day.
July?
July. Yeah. Good thing we ain't climbing today.
I know.
The rope's harder to work with when it gets cold.
Yeah,
Nah. It's just being out there.
Have you shoot it with that down? Because the way these are all fletched, they're fletched with the spine. Just to shoot it down. I have a light knock going in the mix.
Yeah.
All right,
Thought it
so
was just the sun out there.
we got Scott's bow shooting straight. So he'll have no excuses this season. Joe's going to give you his information. If anybody wants to contact Joe and get some help with getting your bow tuned, Joe will give you the information. We're also going to put everything in the description, and when we edit the video, we'll put information on it as well. But Go ahead, Joe.
Easiest way is message me through Facebook at Joseph Paese, Paese. Easy enough to find on there. And on Instagram, LIL Outlaw 2 on Instagram.
All right, very good. So, yeah, we'll put the information in the description, and if you guys need anything, just if you have any questions, you could also put comments in the video. But we'll try and help you guys out if anybody has any questions or want to send their bows to Joe and get some help. Joe can help you out.
And anybody that
Thank you, Rob.
calls through this video or through New York Saddle Hunters, you get 10% off
All right.
on me to help
Awesome.
you guys out.
Appreciate
All right.
it, man.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
All right, take it
Thanks
easy.
again.